All right, guys, Judge Joe here. Welcome back to my bunker in Atlanta, Georgia. Here we are, the final turn of the final round. It is Anzac, Canada, France. Anzacanarance. Yes, Anzacanarance, turn 5 or turn 8, however you want to think of it, for this BBR playtest of the 1942 Larry Harris setup. So let's take a look at where we stand here. Currently, well, actually, let's do a little bit of a replay. Earlier, since the last time I saw you when I was doing the U.S.-China videos, Japan had the South Asia point in that they had Burma. But if you've been watching the YouTube Wars Season 3, you know that Corpo 24 attacked Burma with an amphibious assault coming from Iran, and he took Burma. Did take heavy casualties. In fact, there for the first couple rounds, it wasn't looking too good. But so what we're going to do is we're going to take away the South Asia point. That is now no longer the Axis. And then, of course, you know that Sire Blood took Warsaw back, and then he totally killed Romania. However, did not have enough forces to take Romania. He just wiped out all the Allied units that were there. Of course, that allowed Italy then to step into Romania. So, and why would they have done that? Well, I'll show you why. It's because the world oil point, one, consists of, you have to have 4 oil derricks to get 1 point. You have to have 7 oil derricks to get 2 oil points. And Japan at this time has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and they didn't make a play for the 7th here. The reason being they calculated it up, and they had to take Cairo. So they decided to send the Italian forces to Cairo. And as you can see, Italy was just finished their turn. As you may have seen that. Of course, it was done by Sire Blood. VK was not available. So the attack, even though it looked like it was going to be successful at first, with 8 hits on the first round from Italy, the Allies did hold Egypt, okay? So with that, that means the Cairo point is no longer a viable option for the Axis. So let's take a look at where we're at here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that means the Axis currently right now have 12 points. That means if Anzac doesn't do something, the game is Axis. An Axis victory. So let's go to Anzac. Let's see what we're going to do. We're not going to mess with buying anything because it doesn't matter. Because after this turn, the game is over. So I'm going to declare a few battles. Now, if you watch my U.S. turn, the purpose of my U.S. turn, clearing out this super carrier in C-Zone 55 here a couple turns ago, was so that my 2 Anzac transports could carry on a battle or an amphibious landing, which, since I don't have a destroyer, there's no way I could escort that. Now, let's look at some of the options that I do have. I need to take away some oil and Pacific Islands. Now, Pacific Islands, in order to get the Pacific Island point, Japan has to have 4 either UK or United States islands in the Pacific. And they currently have Borneo as 1, Philippines is 2, they have Guam 3, and they have Gilbert Islands 4. Japan did a great job of thwarting my attempt to take the Gilbert Islands and to get into Guam. But in doing so, they kind of stretched themselves thin. So I've got a couple options here. I can go and attack the Gilbert Islands, and if I win, it takes away the island point, because then they would be down to 3. 1, 2, 3. I could do this evasive maneuver where I just go 1, 2, 3 and take Guam uncontested. All right, or I could take Borneo. So what I'm going to do is I am going to do Borneo. And the reason I'm going to do Borneo is because Borneo not only is one of the Pacific Islands, but it also has an oil derrick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an infantry and an artillery from Sea Zone 54 and move 1, 2, and 3 and land in Borneo. And I'll show you why that's important in a second. Now, I know the guys I'm playing with understand why that's important, but for those of you that may be watching, trying to learn. So what I've done is I've just taken away one of the islands. So now the Pacific Island Point is gone. All right. And then with my other transport, I'm going to take another infantry and guy and go 1, 2, and I've got a slew of options here. Well, not a slew. I'm going to take, let's take Java. No, let's take Celebes. It doesn't really matter at this point. So I'm going to take Celebes. So now what I've done is by taking these 2 islands, I have taken 2 oil derricks, which means now the Axis have 1 oil derrick, 2, 3, and 4 oil derricks, which means they only get the 1 world oil point. Okay? So that is a reason that I took Borneo. Now, even with, if I don't take Borneo, if I were to go up here and go 1, 2, 3, I would still take the Pacific Island Point away, because then they would still have 1, 2, 3 islands, but I would not take an oil derrick away. So by taking this, I'm kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Now in this scenario, this would give Japan, if I did this move, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 oil derricks. So even with that, they would still not get the second oil point. So in this case, it probably doesn't matter if I go to Guam. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go to Borneo, since that's what was my original plan in the first place. Okay, so that's that. So I think, of course, now let's count the victory points and what that does. Nope. Let's do this. I was going to do a little sneak attack on the carrier here, but you know what? What the heck? Not that this really means anything in the game, but just to, since there's no destroyer, let's go in here. I've got to hit him 3 times before he hits me once, which is probably not going to happen. So I gotta, let's see here. I've got a sub at 2, a miss. He's got a carrier at 2, a hit. So my sub is gone, so that doesn't matter. Way to go, War-Torn, you just killed my sub. All right. So that's gone, sub is gone. Japan keeps their last carrier. All right, so that's it for Anzac. Let's go over here to Canada. Now, well, let's do this first. So what it does, in taking away the Pacific Island Point, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That means the Axis fall 1 victory point short of a victory, because it's required that they have 12 at the end of the game. So this means it's an Allies win. So at this point, there's no reason to do anything further, but just for teaching's sake, I might want to show some of the guys that are trying to learn a little bit about BBR. There are a couple other options that we might have done, or at least attempted, if for some reason they still had 12 points. One, actually, I'm gonna go ahead and do this just because this is more of a sense of pride, and that is I'm gonna take my Canada transport and destroyer from 106. I'm gonna go 1 and 2, and I'm gonna pass these German subs here, because I'm gonna go all down here to 3, and I'm gonna land in Gibraltar. And this doesn't mean anything for the game right now, because as I showed you before, we have acquired, or we have kept the Axis from acquiring 12 points. But this little territory right here has been a source of contention for the Allies this entire game. And we have failed to get Gibraltar every single turn, every single round. And so this is more like a moral victory, even though it means nothing towards the victory of this game. So the Canadians have taken Gibraltar. All right. Now, I don't know what's going on. If you watch the Germany turn, you know that Sire pulled some move here where he's bringing his subs down here to 103, 5 subs. Not sure what's going on here, but you know, that Snyder, he's a sneaky little devil. And you know, you get him together with VK, and there's no telling what they're cooking up. He's probably got some crazy whack rule like 5 subs and 1 C zone in the Atlantic Ocean means a victory point. Who knows? So let's stay tuned and see what that's all going to be about. Now, there's one other thing I want to show you guys, and that is up here. This is the Atlantic wall point, and Germany got this point on their last turn. And the Atlantic wall point means there have to be 4 land units on Normandy, Belgium, Denmark, and Norway. And they have to be land units, not air. There had to be a minimum of 4 on each territory to get the Atlantic wall point. Well, as you can see, he has 4 in Normandy. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus a fighter. All right, in Holland, he has, I think, 5 in Denmark. And he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in Norway. Now, the reason he put more in Norway is because it's evident that there is no threat coming to here. However, there is a minor, albeit, threat coming from here because it is Canada's turn. So Canada could technically, if the game was not over, and I'm going to go ahead and do this just to let you guys see, Canada can take their bomber and go 1, 2, 3, and the fighter from Viborg can go 1, 2, and they're going to take a pot shot at this. They're not going to take the territory, but what the hopes would be is if a combination of these 2 Canada planes, bomber and fighter, along with France that will come up next, taking pot shots at this, if we can somehow manage to knock off 1, 2, 3, 4 units. If we can knock off 4 units off of Norway, then they would be down to 3 land units, which means the Atlantic point would be taken away. So let's go ahead and roll this out. So Canada has a 3 and a 4. So let's roll this over here. Now keep in mind that the Canadian bomber only gets to roll the first round. So there's a 3 for the bomber. Here's a 4. So it would do good to hit both of these on this first roll. And I'm hit with the bomber, missed with the fighter. So I did knock one off. Now Germany has 1, 2, 3, 4 at 2. 1, 2, 3, that's the infantry. And then they have 3 tanks, but their tanks are heavy tanks. So they get to roll defensive 4. All right, so I'm assuming he's gonna hit me twice. He hit me 3 times, and all with the heavy tanks. So now the Canadian Air Force is dead. 1 German guy is off the board. And now it would go to France's turn. So now France, a little Hail Mary attack, with the French fighter. Is going to go with 3 versus 2 or 3 3s, 3 4s. So here's my fighter. Of course, these odds are terrible odds, but I'm just trying to show you the concept here. And I missed with my fighter again. And so there are 3 infantry for Germany, 1, 2, 3, and there are 3 heavy tanks, 1, 2, 3, and I'm toast. Sure enough, I'm toast. So, obviously that didn't work out. In fact, I wasn't planning on that working out. But what that goes to show you is, if the Allies had more Air Force in this area, right? If there were a couple French fighters, if there were, 3 Canadian fighters here, then we would have a couple turns of throwing our Air Force and just trying to nibble away at these land units to hopefully get them down to less than 4 by the end of the game, and that would take away the Atlantic wall point, which in this case it didn't. So anyways, that was more of an educational battle there for those of you who are not familiar with BBR and trying to maybe learn some of the rules. So all that to say, the game is now officially over. Let me just say that this game has been fantastic, and playing with my teammates, and I'd like to congratulate them. We have Detroit, who started with us playing America and China until his work schedule got busy. And then, of course, we have Corpo, who played UK, and we have Hambone, who did a fantastic job playing the Soviet Union, and then myself playing Anzac, France, and Canada. Great guys to play with, and kudos to our opponents, who are fantastic gentlemen with war-torn up in Canada. And then we have, of course, VK Cowboy out in Oklahoma, and Sire Blood himself, the author of these fantastic rules. And this has been a great experience. Great guys to hang with and talk and kind of talk some smack with. But I'm really liking not only the Bloodbath rule set, which if you've watched any of my videos, you know that I'm a pretty big proponent of. However, not just that, but the way that Sire has incorporated it into the 1942 version and making this a 5-round game, keeping his BBR rule set pretty much the same. And I think the first video was loaded up on October 27th by Hambone when he uploaded Russia 1. And today marks, I think, the 3rd week and 5th day that we've been playing. So we've gone through 5 rounds in under 4 weeks. And so this experience, the BBR 42 playtest, has been a fantastic experience, and I think it's great, a great medium for YouTube, social media games. So thanks, Sire Blood, to all your hard work in developing these. Thanks to my friends who we got to play with. So if you don't hear from me anytime soon, guys, just want to wish you guys a happy Thanksgiving here if you're in the States. And we're getting ready to part here for the holiday season, and probably take a little hiatus from some YouTube games until we get maybe past the holidays into the new year. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this BBR series, or the BBR 42 playtest. And I do have a BBR series, informational series, that I have been working on for the last several months. And so if you're interested in continuing to learn about the BBR series and the different rule sets and how things apply to the out-of-box game, please check my YouTube channel and click on the BBR series playlist. Okay? And I got a couple more videos already made and already in the can, ready to be released here over the next several weeks. And after the new year, we're going to be dealing with each nation specifically, probably in turn order, and dealing with the national objectives that are new in BBR for each nation, the technologies that you might want to consider when playing these nations, and of course dealing with some strategies and those kinds of things. So hope you've enjoyed this, guys. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy Thanksgiving, happy holidays, and we'll see you soon.